Ang susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.
Warning. The following content may contain elements that are not suitable for some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
13 ghost stories that have you questioning every shadow. The Amityville Haunting. One of the most infamous and well-known ghost stories started on November 13, 1974, when Ronald J. DeFeo Jr. murdered his entire family in Amityville, New York. However, it wasn't the six-person homicide that put the sleepy little Long Island town on the map. It was the home's paranormal activity, which began 13 months later when it was acquired by the Lutz family, of course. Details of the hunting, like most hauntings, are unconfirmed, but the Lutz claim that during their 28th day, they witnessed several strange, unexplained events. Example are doors flew off their hinges, slime slipped out of walls, and there were ghosts. George Lutz used to wake up at 3:15 every morning, the exact time the DeFeo murders were carried out. Since report of the hunting first surfaced, the Amityville home has been the backdrop for several books, documentaries, and film. The Conjuring. You've probably seen or at very least heard about The Conjuring, the 2013 film featuring Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, and Ron Livingston. Was very well received, but did you know the supernatural thriller was based on a true story? Yes, the Perron family were existed and lived in a haunted home. So what happened? According to the Perrons, the Rhode Island residence was the site of several strange occurrences. Things moved at random. There were unexplained noises and yes, ghosts. The Perrons even experienced the occasional possession. And while their home was not the site of a mass murder, many children died under mysterious or suspicious circumstances, and their deaths had been tied, albeit loosely, to the legendary Satanist Bathsheba Sherman. The Crying Lady in the Dakota. When the Dakota was built, it's something of a modern marvel. According to Curb, New York, an 1885 real estate record and builder guide regarded it as one of the noblest apartment houses of world. And since its opening, it has many famous residents, including Peter Chabkovsky, Lauren Bacall, Rosemary Clooney, Connie Chung, and Maury Povich. But the Dakota made a new name for itself after John Lennon and Yoko Ono moved into the building in 1973. Why? Because Lennon claimed he saw a crying lady ghost roaming the halls. And after Lennon died directly in front of Dakota, Ono said she witnessed Lennon's ghost sitting at his piano. The Jersey Devil. While this one is not a ghost story, the tale of the Jersey Devil has withstood the test of time, and for good reason. Stories of the winged beast are truly terrifying. But who or what is the Jersey Devil? According to Weird New Jersey, the infamous creature haunting the Pine Barrens is the child of Mother Leeds, a Pines resident who conceived her 13th child in 1735. At the time, Leeds had no idea how she could care for, let alone afford, another kid, and so, in exasperation, she raised her hands to the heavens and proclaimed, "Let this one be a devil." Leeds got her wish. Moments after her birth, her healthy baby grew horns and claws and bat-like wings. Legend has it the devil then killed his mother before attacking onlookers. Phantom Steamboat on Tombigbee River. In February 1858, a steamboat named Eliza Battle set off in a cruise town, Alabama's Tombigbee River. On board were 60 passengers and more than 1,200 bales of cotton. But when the cotton caught on fire on March 1, guests and crew were overcome by smoke and flames. 33 perished or in the Tombigbee. It is said those ill-fated passengers haunt the river to this very day, and on breeze nights, people have claimed to see the Eliza Battle in the misty waters. The Belwitch. Much like The Conjuring, The Belwitch is the subject for the two films of An American Hunting and The Blair Witch Project, as well as several podcasts and books. But where did the witch came from? Rumor has it that the Belwitch was first appeared on early 1800s when the Bell family from whom with the witch was named moved to Tennessee. After settling into their new home, the Bells began hearing strange noises, including dogs barking, chains rattling, and a woman whispering. At the latter became known as the Bell Witch. Of course, no one knows her true identity, but the legend has it she's the ghost of a former neighbor, Kate Batts. It is also believed that the witch played a role in the ultimate loss of John Bell, who died from poisoning. This content is imported from Instagram. You may be able to find same content in another format, or you may be able to find more information at their website. The Ghost of Henry Dixon. Tunnelton may be a small unincorporated town in rural Indiana, but it is a big ghost hunting community. Why? Because Tunnelton is home to the Tunnelton Tunnel, aka the Big Tunnel, where it is said numerous ghosts still linger both on beneath the grounds. However, the most famous tenant is Henry Dixon, a night watchman whose body was found just inside the tunnel in 1908. Dixon's murder was never solved, and many have reported seeing the watchman on patrol on Lantern Hand. Locals have been chased by Dixon. This content is imported from Instagram. Devil's Den. In the summer of 1863, hundreds of thousands of soldiers descended on Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and many lost their life. According to the House Top Works, more than 50,000 infantrymen were left dead, wounded, or missing, and rumor has it some of these soldiers still haunt the battlefields, particularly Devil's Den, a rocky enclave where 1,800 died. One woman claimed she felt a hand grab her ankle at the historic site, and several others have seen ghosts appear both in person and in photographs. The Myrtles Plantation. It is said numerous spirits haunt the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana. However, the most well-known ghost is Chloe, who according to the plantation's official website is the former slave and love interest of plantation owner Clark Woodruff. Their affair ended up abruptly. Woodruff caught her eavesdropping on him and as a punishment cut off her ear, but Chloe allegedly exacted her revenge. She poisoned the rest of his family. Unfortunately, Chloe's peers did not defend her actions. The other slaves knew that she's done and hanged her. It is believed Chloe resides on the property to this very day. The Biliska Axe Murders. More than a century later, one brutal night still haunts the small town of Biliska, Iowa. In the early hours of the morning of June 10, 1912, Josiah and Sarah Moore, their 4 children, and family friends Lena and Ina Stillinger were blood-gowned to death in their sleep and at the Moore's home. As the investigation unfolded, it was found that the doors of the house were locked. All but 2 windows were covered, and the murder weapon, an axe, was left at the scene. Killings remain unsolved. In 1994, the house's new owner restored the property to the near exact replica of how it looked at the time of the murders. Paranormal investigators have named the Biliska Axe Murder House as one of the most haunted in the country, with a ghost hunter even stabbing himself after a night is spent in the home. The house is open for a day tour and stay for $428 a night, with many occupants reporting they had some sort of supernatural encounter, like hearing voices while sleeping overnight. The Ghost of Hinton Ampner. This haunted English mansion is what supposedly inspired Henry James to write his renowned horror novella, The Turn of the Screw, which in turn was reworked for television for Netflix, The Haunting of Bly Manor. As the story goes, in January 1765, the Ricketts family moved into Manor after renting it from a woman named Lady Stowell. Almost immediately, the inhabitants and the staff, particularly Mrs. Ricketts, reportedly multiple instances of observing ghost beings and hearing disturbing sounds. Sightings included a swiftly walking tall woman in a silk dress and a cloaked figure. While leaving at the mansion, Mrs. Ricketts heard gunshots, slamming doors, footsteps, and shrieks and moans. They began and I went to bed, and I heard till a broad day in the morning. A shrill female voice would begin and two others with. Man-like tones seemed to join in the discourse. Though this conversation sounded as it was close to me, I never could distinguish the words. She wrote at the time, according to the National Trust. After 7 years, the Ricketts moved out once the home was deemed unfit for occupation. When it was demolished in 1793, workers found a box on the grounds that contained a small skull. It was thought that the remains were from the child of the Lord Stowell and his sister-in-law Honoria, who were decreed the ghosts of Hinton Upner. The property has been reconstructed multiple times over the decades to reflect the era and now under the care of the UK's National Trust. Haggin Molly. The legend of Haggin Molly has been passed down in generations in the small town of Abelville, Alabama. It is said the ghost of Molly, a cloaked 7-foot-tall woman, roams the street of Abelville at night. If children cross her while out of and about, she'll chase them, envelop them in an unwelcome embrace, and scream into their ears. Legends of her origin vary from versions that she says she was a woman who tragically lost her baby to a local professor who was attempting to keep kids from venturing out at night. She became so ingrained in the folklore of the town that there is a beloved local cafe named after her. Anybody who grew up in Abelville grew up knowing the legend of Haggin Molly. A native of the town, Jimmy Rain told AL.com. If your mother or dad didn't want you to be out of the dark, they tell you Haggin Molly will get you, and you believe it too.